Will AI take over the planet?
AI could lead to the end of the human race.
Technology chiefs are warning there's a risk humans could become extinct.
It's a danger to the public.
And this is destructive to how we function.
Does humanity know what it's doing?
No. So, because of the science fiction movies of our time, we have this fear that if AI gets too smart, it will destroy humankind. Even people who work in this field sometimes fall for this line of thinking. Elon Musk himself believes it could be a big risk to future civilization and has been an active advocate of safe AI practices.
Well, I think there's a real danger for digital superintelligence.
But today, I want to show you guys why AI is not as smart or dangerous as we think it is. Also guys, this is AK, and if you wish to understand AI at a deeper level, stick around because this is going to be interesting. So to understand why AI isn't a threat, we have to understand AI. AI is not actually smart. Here's how it works. The reason why we think it's smart is because it's trained to do a task well within its predefined parameters. Its intelligence isn't the same as human intelligence. In most cases, AI is just well trained to replicate how humans would do something, whether that's writing, speaking, painting, or creating music. Let's take ChatGPT for example. What ChatGPT does is a probability distribution over words. So based on all the text, books, articles, documents that it has read, processed, digested, been trained on, it tries to predict what word a human would normally put next in a sentence. So if you ask it, can you explain what you are, it will tell you that it is a language model that generates human-like text. And because it knows lyrics to Snoop Dogg songs or has access to Shakespearean texts, it can talk like them too. We as humans see that and think to ourselves, I can't do that, that makes AI smarter than me. But in reality, it's just regurgitating. You can think of it as a blown-up version of auto-suggestions on your phone's keyboard. In technical terms, this is called natural language processing, which analyzes how humans talk. And this can be applied to a lot of different things. Essentially, everything you see ChatGPT do. Those are content generation, answering questions, summarizing texts, and speech-enabled applications. So again, coming back to intelligence and comparing it to us humans, a lot of these things tend to impress us. This is basically a computer, right? So its ability to retrieve and regurgitate information is far better than us humans. That's why we think it's smart, but AI doesn't truly understand what we are saying. It lacks the ability to reason. It lacks common sense. Most human intelligence about the world has nothing to do with language. Jan LeCun, chief AI scientist at Meta, says. So for example, a 5-month-old baby would see a toy floating and think nothing about it. However, a 9-month-old baby knows that objects don't naturally float. Even babies have some ideas about the laws of physics and how gravity works because our brains is constantly creating hypotheses and assessing whether they're actually true. So the way AI is designed currently is through this thing called neural networks. As the name suggests, it tries to imitate the network of neurons in our brains. I promise I'll keep this simple. Let's first understand how our brain works. Each neuron in our brain has a structure that receives data and one that sends data. These are called dendrites and axons respectively. Different neurons are connected by a synapse. Now, the difference here is that human brains can hypothesize. They can predict what the outcome will be. Neural networks can't do that. That's why they're given mass amount of questions and correct answers to train on and recognize patterns. Each neuron gets good at doing one single task. Once this knowledge base is built, they're given new questions to see whether they can answer them. ChatGPT is essentially the same. Data plus training equals ability to write like humans. It only looks like it understands what we are saying, but that's not actually the case. It's trained to reproduce human language, but that doesn't mean it understands it. Just like how factory workers are good at assembling phones, but that doesn't make them computer engineers. And that forms the misconception that artificial intelligence is surpassing human intelligence. But in reality, it's far from human intelligence. Alexander Wang puts it beautifully in this TED Talk. When AI is better than humans, that's better for humans. So because of these misconceptions, politicians and big figures in the technology space are concerned that if left unchecked, AI could pose some serious dangers to society. However, that isn't true for now. Neural networks and generative AI models The way they are trained today makes them really good at only one task. That's the one they're trained for. I'll admit, machine learning carries profound risks for the job market. It could replace 3 million jobs, but also add 7% to global GDP. If you look at history, technology has always replaced manual labor through machines. The book 21 Lessons for the 21st Century mentions that. This concept is also talked about in the book Why Nations Fail, which I'm reading right now. Termed creative destruction, when new innovations bring huge changes to the economy but also sometimes challenge political power. But not to worry, algorithms are not self-aware. Jan LeCun mentioned that AI being intelligent has no link to it wanting to take over. If you look at us humans, we took over the planet as the most dominant species because, yes, we're intelligent. But one thing that we have that AI doesn't is self-awareness. It doesn't feel. It knows the word dominate, it knows how to use it in sentences, but that doesn't mean it understands it. We consider AI smart because it's better in some abilities, but we often forget that that's literally it. It's designed in a way to be subservient to humans. And even if governments try to pause the development of giant AI systems, technology cannot be stopped. So if you want to learn how to utilize AI tools for yourself, you can check out these videos right here. Hopefully this video answers a lot of your questions. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.